Perfect.
Okay.
All right, let me just audition's
We're
the last one to
on
go.
Instagram.
We are live at 5 o'clock.
For the first time. Oh, I'm not
You're
at my
not even
mic.
talking into the
Okay.
microphone.
Well, we're live at 5 for the first time.
Live at 5.
For the first time in forever. Whoa.
I would
YouTube's
like
very delayed.
I would like to welcome back audio quality to the podcast. We've had
some issues.
All types of issues, so hopefully that won't happen.
There's Evan
anymore. He's already here. So I have an announcement.
What's this announcement? Do I know this announcement?
We have a sponsor.
What?
It is Reptile hats, making a custom reptile hats for your corn snake hognose. You go to www.getafuckinglife.com.
Oh my god.
They also make custom tuxedos for your leopard geckos.
I don't know why that bothers you so much.
I really hate the fucking putting hats on snakes thing.
Who cares?
It's just stupid.
It's dumb, but
cute,
like
though,
it
right?
doesn't make me stay up at night worrying about it. Like,
well, we got to get through the rest of the sponsors.
Okay, who are our other sponsors?
Can you please visit our Patreon page, www.patreon.com/kiss your money goodbye. We'll make a podcast when you want.
I don't know what that meant. What is Patreon page?
It's where you like go and you fucking donate money to people who are doing a podcast.
So like Kickstarter for
podcasts? but everyone who's tried to do it stops doing podcasts right after you give them money.
Oh.
So that's really how it works. You get money and then you stop doing your actual, your podcast.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would like to get money for us doing this. Who wouldn't? We wouldn't stop.
Right. But would you trust?
Okay.
Would you trust
that
anyone who did it? Because
I don't know.
The other times that it happened, they just stopped putting them out. The only podcasts that have been consistent are the ones who don't care about monetizing it. Yeah, which is kind of weird.
I got it.
The camera is only showing couches. I mean, we kind of we have it propped up on like a paper towel and
scoot in. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
And I gotta scoot this way.
We kind of, I don't know. Just the angle we have to put things at. There's shit all over the place.
But we're in it now.
But we are kind of going to talk about some selective buying practices, as well as we were just at Southern Carpet Fest this weekend.
So a little recap.
And I know there's a better show that talks about this more in depth. So that's why we're not going to make we're not going to make a whole show out of it, because obviously NPR is going to have one in an hour or 2 hours, whenever it is. Evan said take charge. I'm not sure what he's talking about.
Oh, about me moving.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know. Okay. So wait, do we have any other sponsors in your list?
My mom, she said YouTube is perfect. So thank you.
Moms are always the number one sponsors.
There you go.
Okay. So what is selective buying?
Thought you were going to talk about Carpet Fest first.
Oh, well, you said selective buying first, so I thought we were going to talk about that first.
No, we should talk about that first and get into it.
Okay, so Carpet Fest. Southern Carpet Fest. How many years has it been going on? Is this only the second?
I believe it's the third. Evan will probably correct us if we're wrong.
I just only remember seeing stuff on Facebook for 2017 and 16,
right?
But it may be the third. But this is my first time going. This is your second time going to Southern Carpet Fest. And you want to explain the premise behind it?
Just a bunch of people like snakes, not even necessarily just carpets. Honestly, a lot of green tree python people there, and even some ball python people. Just anyone who likes snakes, wants to hang out, wants to drink beers and hang out. That's pretty much it.
I think the main thing is, obviously, it's very community feeling. It's like it's at someone's house. I don't know if they're all like that. Ooh, shit. Sorry. There's a bug. I don't know if they're all at someone's house, but Southern Carpet Fest is at someone's house, and it feels very like a community. Like everyone knows each other.
Yeah, that's how pretty much they're all supposed to be.
Also, different than in ARBC, it is not 98.5% ball pythons.
Right, and no one's selling any animals, so all you're doing, especially at this one, is just checking out the sickness and holding the sickness and looking at
just
Bill's
looking
snakes.
at right, and then talking about what you have and just networking with people.
Right.
But I liked seeing different stuff other than ball pythons.
Right.
I was over that.
Yeah.
But you also get to see, you know, how different people had set up. Like Bill's setup is very different than yours, and you know, you get to talk with people about that. Also, the cool thing is, even though it's Southern Carpet Fest, not everyone's in Texas. You know, people came from Florida, people came from Philly, and so you got to interact with people you might not know. You know, you might not normally ever see. You just turned me down.
No, yeah, I did turn down because it was just way too loud in my ears.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Made it quiet.
I know.
But yeah, so there are definitely some people that we never would have met if Carpet Fest hadn't happened. And we just all got to talk about our love of snakes and everything like that.
Absolutely. And I just want to reiterate the fact is we probably said it before on the show. If we refer to Evan, he's commenting on Instagram and or sometimes Facebook. So
Evan
when I say Evan said, you know, it's more about he's putting on Southern Carpet Fest at Bill's house. So and he said, you know, it is more about building relationships and hanging out. So
right. And I think, you know, obviously NARBC has its own purposes, but you don't get to do that as much because it's so big. And Tinley, even though I've never been, I know is even bigger. So it doesn't give you that chance to like make those relationships.
It's not a directed, it's more of the reptile community as a whole. This is much more centralized into
Are there any other things like Carpet Fest where it's a time to, you know, network and build relationships?
Yeah, just regular reptile shows. But I mean, yeah, there's nothing. I kind of wish, I mean, there was back in the day ICAST, which I think was, I'll probably fuck it up. It's basically an arboreal, you know, conference type thing they try to set up. They had a little bit of a show there, but it was much more like a big Carpet Fest where everyone came in who had, you know, arboreals, which would be green trees, emeralds, carpet pythons,
all the best stuff,
all the yeah, I mean, all the cool stuff. Typically, you know, there's just a lot more people who are way into, like, especially green tree pythons, so specialized and so, you know, those people are just so in depth and so focused on green trees. Like so many people who have green trees only keep green trees or emeralds, you know, they kind of stay in that lane much more.
And they don't go to shows that often.
Yeah, they pretty much never go to shows. So so yeah, so I guess that's the one opportunity for them to get together.
That's why I feel like there should be more, you know, things like you said.
And Carpet Fest is kind of filling that void, though.
Right. But it's, you know, very small. I hope in the future it grows bigger and bigger, and there's more things like that to network and to talk to people, and, you know, learn new things about what's going on in the snake world. Because it's definitely good for someone like me who doesn't, you know as much as you do, and so I get to hear other people's things and just learn more about it that I wouldn't learn from a show. Right. You know, a show is walking around looking at snakes, but there's not a whole lot of talking.
There's not a whole lot of what would you call that? I'm looking for a word. Intelligent conversation to an extent, besides the fact of, oh, hey, what morph is that? How do you make it?
How much is it? How much is it? What? Yeah. What was this project?
Take 2 for 50.
Yeah. And it doesn't really go past that, which I understand, you know. The sellers are there to talk to everyone to get their stuff out, and the buyers have a lot to look at. So I understand why it doesn't happen at the shows. I just wish there was more things like Southern Carpet Fest or just Carpet Fest in general.
Evan mentioned that Buddy Buscemi, who is a carpet or green tree python breeder, he said he's trying to get together, you know, another ICAST, which I believe most of them are on the East Coast. I believe the last one was in Maryland. I may be making that up, but it would probably be around there. So, and then there's also a total of 5 Carpet Fests now. So I know there is Northwest,
Southern, Southwest,
Northeast,
Northeast.
And then they're trying to get Florida, but I don't know what the other one is. So Midwest, maybe. There's a Chicago one, or Tinley kind of takes that spot.
Yeah. I don't know what the other ones would be.
Oh, there's Austin.
Oh, hey, Austin. Austin was at Carpet Fest,
right?
And lives in the DFW area, and so it was good to just talk to.
And he had some sweet. He has some sweet Brisbane coastals.
And what was the other one? The brittle.
He has brettles as well. Yeah, I believe he bred. He has a clutch of brettles that I guess are available now, but he doesn't post for sale.
Not trying to market it very much.
Yeah, but I definitely want to get a pair of those Brisbanes.
Why?
He has like a really sweet, they're usually kind of a caramel color as babies, kind of more, I mean, I guess you wouldn't know what a caramel coastal carpet python looks like, but more towards that end. His are kind of like a yellowy. He has one that's more of a yellow, yeah. So that was cool.
How many carpets you trying to have, babe?
Well, that's just like, you want a whole bunch of different snakes, but you don't know exactly. They all come like when it's conveniently timed, you end up getting stuff. So there's always stuff that you want, but kind of, this is available then at the exact right time when I'm ready to buy and I have the right space, then you get it.
Then you get it.
Right. So I guess on that
kind of leads into our other topic.
I did get the silent auction.
Yeah, we won something.
Yeah, so
I was bidding on it, but you ended up winning it.
Yeah, no, I was talking about like last week about some blood pythons and short tail pythons, and I did get the Philly Herp $200.
What's his name? Matt
Minatola.
Matt Minatola. Everyone check out Philly Herp. He was at Carpet Fest, and we won the auction to buy some of his snakes. And what is a lot of the stuff that he has?
Wait, sorry.
Yeah, you were reading and you can't listen. What is a lot of the things that Philly Herp has?
Oh, and then Ian's on Facebook.
Oh.
Philly Herp has mostly Borneo short tails.
Okay.
So that is, and I don't want to sound too stupid going too much into short tails or blood pythons because I don't know too much. But he's mostly, there's Borneos, and then there's the black bloods, which are Sumatrans. They kind of stopped calling them bloods because that confused them with the red blood python. So there's basically Borneos, Sumatrans, red bloods. Borneos are, there's a lot of polygenic things that they're working, just line bred, genetic stripe stuff, marble, like all this crazy stuff that the genetics are just all over the place. They just kind of breed things that are cool together and come out with more cool things. So I'm looking forward to just getting one of those. The cool thing about that also is that, I keep green trees, carpets, and colubrids, all pretty cool temperature. So blood pythons are kind of in the same vein.
So short tails,
a little bit more humid, but
short tails can handle the same temperatures as the one you have.
Right.
Okay.
Not exactly the same requirements, but it can be like a reasonable. The thing is, I'm not like, I don't need like an 88-degree room, nothing crazy.
Right, just a little bit of modification. Yeah. Okay, how big? Obviously, they're called short tails, but how big do short tails get?
Most of them, I believe, stay within about 5 feet, but get about 20 pounds.
Okay.
So they're really fat. really, really fat.
And I noticed a lot of the ones you were showing me, at least their head is very, very like specifically colored. Is that across the board or just happen to be the ones you were showing me from Philly Herp?
Selectively bred. So there's this thing called, I forget who breeds them, but pumpkin heads. So he's basically breeding for that orange head. So
okay.
Right.
It's
so
a specific thing they're trying to get.
What you're trying to get. So there are more short tails that go towards the creamy spectrum, more of a white, tan, creamy look. And then there's more that kind of get that dark, what they call like Halloween or pumpkin head, orange and black.
And they were specifically going for that. It didn't just kind of happen.
Yeah, no, people have been doing that over, generation to generation. So,
okay.
Which it makes it cool. And also it keeps it away from that weird area to where you're messing with like actual morphs where you know exactly what's going on. That's what keeps things like green trees in check as far as price goes, because no one really knows how the genetics work and they come out yellow or red. So it's like, these ones are going to be more expensive, but
because you know exactly how they're coming out.
Well, for green trees, you don't know what's
I was talking about the short tail.
So you're like, I might get a blue snake, I might get just a regular green snake. So, I mean, obviously, really good-looking animals produce really good-looking animals, but there's still only a certain percentage that will turn out maybe the way you envision them.
Also, with green trees, their baby, clearly baby green tree is going to look very different from adult. And so you just don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't say this yellow. You want to hope that white stripe down the back, like I had on my Jayapura, you're saying that's definitely going to turn blue because that seems reasonable. But really, it's not that blue, unfortunately. So,
sorry, we're doing bad on reading.
Yeah, I know. We kind of got into it, but I think Evan and Austin are just talking to each other on Instagram.
Oh, okay. He said, wait, Evan said we gotta get a what? Something next year.
I don't know, but he said I'll talk to Bill. So I know they're getting the crawfish boil already.
They're planning for next Southern Carpet Fest.
And then Austin, I think, draws up the shirts. So
okay. Well, definitely, I hope the Buddy Guide works on doing another ICAST, because I think that, what does ICAST stand for?
International Convention of Arboreal Species, maybe. I might be making that up. Someone may correct me. I think that's about it.
Yeah, ICAST would be very interesting.
And Ian's on Facebook, but Evan and Austin are on Instagram. So that's kind of, if you like, people commenting on YouTube, people on Instagram, people on Facebook, everyone always seems to be on all different ones.
But yeah, Instagram's the most popular. What did Evan?
Oh, Symposium is the S.
Oh, fancy. Well, it makes it fancier. What did you say? Species? Yeah, you're very off. Not even close. Where, you said the last one was in Maryland?
I believe so.
And did it change?
I don't remember exactly.
Okay. How long ago was it?
I want to say like 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, so not that long ago.
No.
And why did it
stop?
But
I mean, if you would think it would be an every year thing. I think it's just a big event to put on, and everyone's busy, and
there's already so many, Tinley and all the other expos. I bet it's hard to start a new one or to, do something different.
Right. And then at that time, like one of the biggest breeders, he said it happened in 2012. So 2012 was, I guess, the last ICAST. And then, Rico, he was one of the biggest breeders in green tree pythons.
Mm-hmm.
And he also kept emeralds and that stuff. So he's obviously a big push in that. And he had cancer, I believe, even at the time of it.
Crap.
And he passed away, I believe, a year or two ago. So
who got all the stuff?
He had, I believe it was his wife, auctioned it off, and a bunch of people in the green tree community kind of came through to provide the money to
because she wasn't
take care of his family, stuff like that. And she obviously can't keep all the snakes, especially things like green trees and emeralds. He was so specific in what he kept,
really,
so he had he was the only full-time green tree python and emerald breeder that I know of.
Really? Okay, yeah. So he was really intense with it, especially for those species and everything.
Right.
Did he have anything to the level of the sickness?
Not that I saw. I'm sure he had stuff like that. I mean, it's all a matter of luck, kind of, in a way.
Where did he live?
I believe he lived in Tennessee.
Interesting. Okay.
Right.
I didn't expect that.
I believe he worked like at an aquarium in Tennessee. He was like actually in the legitimate like biological community of some sort.
So more than just like snakes.
Yeah. And then it kind of, I believe, evolved into him doing emeralds and green trees full time.
Cool. So I bet anything from that auction was very expensive.
Yeah, and went towards
helping it for a good cause, obviously, like for his family.
But you'll see, like signal herp stock and stuff like that floating around. So
okay, well, hopefully ICAST can still make it, because I like things like Southern Carpet Fest, and I think it's another way to bring people like me who are new to it, in.
And it's important to keep the bullshit out of it. So there's so much bullshit as far as Facebook stuff like that, so much drama. So you can say like looking face to face at someone is much different than being on Facebook and having a misunderstanding to where you don't know anyone's intent via fucking text on Facebook.
You read
and
it
stuff
very
like
different. That. But so you think at some Carpet Fest drama gets hashed or
I don't know. It's just you get to meet people behind their profile picture, the actual people.
And it was funny. I don't remember who at Carpet Fest was talking about so many people don't post pictures of themselves on their Facebook page. They only post like snake pictures, so you have no idea who it is till you actually like meet them in real life.
Green tree people are the number one fucking culprits of doing that,
because they love it.
Bro, you are not a green tree python. You look nothing.
There was someone the other day, I was like, I have no idea who this person is, because it is all snakes, 100% snakes. And because they love them, and I understand, but like, you have a life too. You're a person. Like, ooh,
you don't know that until
you meet them, right? And so I think that's another cool thing about it is people you've known over the internet forever, but you're like, oh, that's your face. You're a real person past your snakes. And so I think that's really interesting.
And then there's just so many different, I don't know, different relationships that stem from it, and different, especially as far as green trees carpets go, a lot of people do, trades, and as well as
how big is that? Because I never heard of that before we went, and I heard a lot of people talking about doing trades, also doing like, oh, I'll pair your snake with my snake.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So does that happen a lot?
Yeah, I mean, less in other communities than carpets. The thing is that a lot of people, things that take longer to age, I mean, are going to be less readily available. Or, the thing is that ball pythons, I think people are very worried about making the first morph and it kind of being their own thing.
That they don't want to like share.
They still do that, but yeah, they may not want to share as readily, or, they just wait 3 years for whatever they want to grow up. But maybe carpets where there's a finite amount of them in the United States. You may be hard pressed to find the exact male you want, or female that you want. So, maybe it's more advantageous to just reach out to someone who already has the adult and get together on a breeding loan with them. And how that may work is, split the clutch 50-50 or split it.
Do you like ship yours to the, like, how does that work if you don't live in the same area?
Depends if it's local or not, but yeah, you can ship it.
You just like ship yours to them. They take care of it.
Usually you'd want to ship the male. The male's going to be breeding easier. So it is, it's going to get less screwed up in the shipping process.
The chances are
males want to breed much more than, females. There's too many bodily functions going on for you to be shipping them all over the place. Plus, and it's also a size thing. You can keep males pretty small.
Okay, so it's just easier to send them.
Yeah, in general.
And then the person just sends back. And is it usually 50-50 how people do it? Or
honestly, I'm not sure. I've obviously never done it.
Oh, okay. I mean, I feel like that's the most fair way.
It's the most reasonable, but I mean, then again, the person with the females doing the most work also as well.
There's Ian. So is it, you think the person who takes care of both of them should deserve more of the clutch?
I don't know. I guess I think so.
I mean, technically the one person just sent them.
It depends on the I think it's fair. Just 50-50. I think I would be nice and be 50-50.
But what if like the male you're sending is more exclusive?
Yeah, exactly. He may have more.
Like, on the sick, if you're sending the sick, then you wouldn't do that. But like if you're sending a really exclusive one and the female is just kind of I
guess it's situational, but I may do 50-50.
He said, I can't believe it's over. Oh, he's still talking about.
Yeah, they're just talking to each other at this point.
Well, I think Evan's talked about. Oh, crap! I'm getting a call. Decline it. I think it's.
Oh no! Did it stop the live? Oh,
there we go.
I don't know. I don't know if Instagram Live even ended, but
I don't know. But Evan said he's done trades. So Evan, when you do trades, do you usually do 50-50 with the clutch, or what usually happens? I don't know. We'll wait till he answers.
Right.
But I feel
I feel like there's also so many situations where it could go sour as well, unless you're really good friends with the person.
I mean, I don't think anyone would do it with a stranger.
No, yeah, but I think I don't know, snake friends may be different than,
What does that mean?
If you know someone just through Facebook is what I'm saying.
Okay, so are you saying you would never? You'd be very cautious.
I would have to know them pretty well in person.
Okay, to mix your snakes with them.
Right.
Okay, but I don't know.
But if you have something rare and like you're both, pumped up about what you're keeping, then.
But if you can see they have a lot of snakes that they keep well, what's gonna go bad? What could happen?
Right. Yeah, that's what you want to think.
Right.
But yeah, Evan said he did 50-50, or 50-50 can be good. But I really suggest working with someone more than simply talk to online.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I'd be very nervous, and I think it helps if you're local.
Put like you put 5 years into an animal. It's a chance you're taking on someone, trusting them.
Off, right?
Plus, there's a lot of people who put fronts on how they keep their animals, but maybe you don't know the true extent of their keeping situation.
What do you mean fronts?
Not everyone keeps their snakes the same. There's a lot of weird people out there. There's a lot of people in their underwear in their trailer keeping 55 snakes. So
the clothes you wear has nothing to do with it.
Well, when you're wearing just underwear,
what, you can't wear underwear and clean snakes?
There's different levels. I've been to different people's houses. There's the true hardcore person who's into animals, and then there's a person may still have a lot of animals but doesn't keep husbandry up to the standard that the other person might.
There's a level between
just like anything else.
True, like breeder and someone who happens to have lots of animals.
Right.
Okay. And I think you'd find that out once you get past
you would hope
that.
So, for sure. And I would definitely want to see someone's collection.
Okay, before you even think about it.
Right.
Okay, if you did have someone, had a close friend, what would you want to do it with? Or like
what do you mean right now?
Yeah.
I mean, my jungle carpet male is so nice that I don't want to put him to my jungle carpet female.
Because she's a bitch.
No, just because she's not nice.
Right.
She's not nice looking. Not nice enough looking for the male. I would be.
You want a better looking female?
I want just as good.
You want a dime piece female? Because
he deserves better.
He deserves a dime.
Yeah, he's like the Matthew McConaughey of jungles, and she's like,
don't go there. I'm nervous about what person.
She's like the Sarah Jessica Parker, so she's
she's pretty.
You're like, yeah, she's cute. She kind of looks like a horse, so you're not really sure, but like,
okay. Yes. So you want I don't know, a really hot celebrity girl.
Yeah.
I can't think of a name.
You need the Emma Stone of girl.
No, really? Really?
Emma Watson, that's better example.
Both no.
Either way, I want a nicer female.
Okay, so
then also needs pure lineage.
So if you were close with someone who had a nice carpet female and who knows all the lineage.
Right.
The not knowing all the lineage be a deal breaker.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it wouldn't be nice enough. It wouldn't look nice enough.
How? You could just not know.
Yeah, but it's very rare. The people who care the most are the ones who know
all the lineage. That makes sense.
Or if you know the lineage and there's an unknown, and it's from someone reputable, and you could say, okay, that animal looked good, then that's one thing.
Repeat that. I'm sorry.
Meaning, if they have the lineage, but it says like unknown jungle carpet right here, and if that animal's still good looking, like maybe, because even some of the most respected lines now have some trace of like goes back and there's an unknown somewhere, right? Because fucking someone put a jungle carpet in their pants and fucking brought it on a plane. So just they're from Australia, so you're not gonna know, but that's just my take.
Well, I don't think it'd be hard to find someone who has a female jungle that you could mix with.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Oh, sorry. What did Evan say? He said he has one.
He said he has a jungle female for sale. She's a little over a year, but's got some great lineage. And then I think mine's Fudo to Mutton, if I know.
I don't know what either of those words mean. Nick Mutton?
Right.
Oh, I know a name. What's the other person?
Bob Fudo. And I don't know much about the line, to be honest, but.
No, you just said talking about knowing the lineage.
Yeah.
And then you don't know your own lineage.
No, I just don't. I just haven't been like, let's see where Bob Fudo got his. I don't remember.
But is Bob Fudo a very trusted seller?
There are some lineages where some people are like, like there's definitely more undocumented than others. I'm not sure which is which. All I know is I like mine.
Okay, well, maybe you can mix with Evan.
We can mix?
Well, your snakes can mix. I don't know, but he's trying to sell it, obviously.
Yeah.
Bob Fudo, I can't read. You're going to have to be the reader.
So I think, was that Bob Fudo, he's the one who passed away earlier this year?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I wasn't sure, but
So would that make it harder to figure out the lineage?
No, because I think people have already done the work. Although there are other lines where that person's dead and you like don't know.
Kind of lost.
Because I remember listening to like an interview with Nick Mutton, and he's like, "Well, that person died in like 75, so you don't, so how the hell are you supposed to know?
You just gotta trust."
Right.
Right.
Ian said, "Sell carpets to get more green trees."
Yes,
I think that's what Evan
I'm on that train.
I think Evan's going, despite the fact that his Instagram name is Carpet Cartel, I think he's trying to sell all of his carpet pythons and getting
to be a green tree.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the way to go. But would you ever, do you want to mix your green tree with anything? Or is your green tree ready?
What I want to mix my green tree with would be like a good Jayapura with good blue dorsal striping.
Because your blue isn't very strong.
Thanks. That's what I don't like.
It's true.
Yeah. No, but the thing is, you can't see it when it's in the tub. You can only see
in the
it
light.
When
but
it's
even when the light,
daylight.
it's not that strong.
Thanks. I know it fucking started yellow, man. I didn't know.
Okay, I mean,
it started yellow.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know. The parents looked good.
That's
saying. Why I don't get more fucking green trees.
Because you don't want to be disappointed.
Because they start looking all the same.
No. They start looking one of two, not all the same, red or yellow.
Yeah, but they all mostly green.
Yes, they all turn out mostly green, but I think it's worth it to take that risk.
But the risk is much more monetarily involved than you think it is. I know for sure I have het palmetto corn snakes. That's such a sound investment.
So, but the green trees are just
the green tree is like, it will either turn green or like maybe it will die one day randomly. I don't know.
So, but if you breed it with a very blue one, that obviously increases your chance.
And I wouldn't say I'm going to go away, but I mean, I do have a female,
Mm-hmm. So someone, if they have a male out there, blue, very blue.
A Jaya with, good blue dorsal striping, but who the hell knows? I don't even know if I want to take. I want to take the time to breed. It would be nice if I had a male.
But you can't get disappointed if
I would have to keep them all. That's the only problem.
What do you mean? You would split it 50-50 with whoever.
Ian said that's why they're called green tree pythons.
Because they're mostly
green.
You just wanted more blue. The special ones are more blue.
Right. Yeah, I'm not. And then even then, so you can get blue line animals that turn out fucking green too.
It's just luck of the draw.
Right. But I mean, and you pay for that chance that it might turn blue.
Right. So, well, the hard part is...
Or like Bill, you have a cyclops that is just randomly blue.
Would you be pissed if you mix with someone and you split it 50-50 and their 50 ended up all blue?
Nah, I mean, it wouldn't break down that easily.
Okay. If it just happened that way, though.
Right.
You'd be pissed.
Yeah, I always wonder where the rest of that clutch that I got my girl from, how it turned out.
Where did you get her from?
I got her from Benjamin Sloan, who actually used to live in Dallas. I don't know if he lives out here anymore. I don't even know if he keeps green trees. They might know more about that, but it was, I believe, Jayapura to Sarong. And
how long ago did you get that green tree?
It was, I believe, 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. So not too long. He might still keep it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I looked on his Facebook. He doesn't have anything on. Oh, he said Ian thinks he still lives in Dallas.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from him. I haven't seen him post any green trees. So I haven't seen anyone from the clutch.
Oh.
Who knows?
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, I guess that happens.
You just kind of stop.
Yeah. But I'll be pissed off anyway if I see it and then fucking they're all nicer
than yours. You got the runt.
Yeah.
I mean,
it looked good.
It's
it was
not
one
a
of the
runt.
best looking
Let me
ones
not
as
say
a baby,
that. It's not a runt. It is a beautiful, beautiful snake. It just doesn't have a whole lot of blue unless you're in the sun.
Right.
But it is still beautiful. It is why I fell in love with green trees, because I still think it's beautiful. So
no, it is a really nice snake. It's green, some yellow on the sides, some blue on top, in the right light.
In the sun, outside. It works, But that's very interesting. I want you to do more green trees, but that's just my personal opinion. I know it's a lot of work that you're not sure if you want to put in.
Right. And I'm sure the more you get, the easier it gets as far as Having one of a snake is usually just as easy as having 100, especially, if you're keeping the right temperature and environment.
Ian said it's a bigger risk breeding. Oh, shoot, it went away. Being a breeder and selling than before you know what they will look like. Yes, that is hard because green trees are just not sure.
Right. So it would be hard for me not to hold on to a clutch but
because you want to know you want to know how they come out.
Right.
You don't want to sell them before you know. But like, do you have the space and
it's barely reasonable
to keep all those for that long. Do you think most people sell them before they wait?
And then also a problem would be you're selling it when you already know what it is. So maybe an animal that would have gone for a certain price is going for a lesser price. Because
you already know. You could have sold it more, like, ooh, the possibility.
So I don't know how that shakes out. I don't know much.
He said, oh, shoot. That's why.
You can't read that. That's why GTP keepers are known to be hoarders. Because
they keep them because they want to know.
Yeah.
Right. That makes sense. If you have the space and the money to do it.
If you let go of the sickness, you would never,
You would hate yourself for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And Ian says he likes to hold back, everything until it changes.
Just because if it's awesome, you want to keep it. Like you're not going to sell it. But then, like you said, you could have got more money. But for most people,
that happens to a certain degree with carpets too. But you can tell which ones are gonna.
Really?
You can definitely, for the most part, tell which ones are gonna be nicer. But there may be like a different degree of nice that happens.
It's not as like cutthroat as green trees.
Yeah, it's not that chance.
Right. That's crazy, but that's why I love them so much. That's what makes them so special and so unique. Is that the chance for them to be beautiful, or the chance for them to be average is huge. It's a very big chance.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I still love them. But I hope we find a blue line one for you to mix with.
Yeah, that would be nice.
What did Evan say? Shoot.
I don't know. I can't read on time.
I made the mistake of selling an Aru
before, changed to only find out that it went all blue and green.
Damn. See, that's what I would be pissed at that too.
Yeah, that would be it, dude. I would have to keep them all until they change. That's really it.
Oh, someone on Instagram said our business name is based on green tree pythons with their Latin name Viridis. Viridis. Okay.
You may be as right as I am, though. So
let's go with Viridis. One day we'll be able to own a mascot. Okay. I didn't know that the Latin name is Viridis.
Morelia.
What?
Morelia genus species, Morelia viridis.
Oh, okay,
So
got it.
That's a green tree python.
Got it. I wonder how many they have, and do they keep all theirs back?
No, I think they were saying that they don't have a green tree, but hope to have a green tree.
Oh, that's just what their name is based off of. Okay, got it.
But when you do get a green tree, just save up for a captive born one, U.S. captive born and bred.
Definitely, it's a better way to go.
It's just my opinion.
I think you think that about all of them, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Wouldn't you want all of them to be captive born bred?
Yeah.
There are actually two species, Viridis and can't read the other one.
So I'm guessing one of them is going to be like the northern Indonesian, and then the Australians, or the northern and southern. I know there's some northern and southern, but I'm not that.
Do you know where yours ended up?
It's Jayapura, Disarang. So those are localities in Indonesia, I believe.
Got it.
I may be fucking that up. I don't really know much about green trees. I just have one.
Okay, that's the guy in Australia. Remember talking about your hide?
Oh, okay, perfect. So he has green trees that we can't even have, which is pretty cool.
Because he's in Australia and we can't get those. I'm very jealous of him because there's a lot of stuff in Australia we can't get.
The Australian people are pretty jealous that we get to mess with all the other green trees, because theirs are mostly, they all come out yellow, and then they're mostly just green and white. So
that's right. Okay, they
just they kind of get the short end of the stick
Indonesian
as far
ones.
As green trees go. So island and mainland. So Jaya's northern.
Okay. So yeah.
And then does that mean Sarang is southern?
So the Australian people obviously are only getting it from Australia.
From your northern Australia. So
they can't get those in New Zealand. So I guess,
but that is kind of weird on how Australia broke off, and then that's the same species as the southerns.
That makes sense. Southern
but you think that they would be separate species because they're on a different continent.
Right, but it's closer. The southern is closer to Australia than the northern part. I don't know geography.
Good. At least I don't look so stupid.
What? Sorry.
Because we're talking about green trees, and we're talking to like all people who really love green trees.
Right, which is helpful. What did he say?
Right. He said there's a map on his page, but he's not sure exactly how the cutoff
it works. Right.
It's cut off. Yeah.
Well, Pangea event at one point everything is connected.
Who's that? I think Daniel Natush, I believe, out of Australia, is the one who did all the research on the green tree pythons. I listened to a podcast with him, but I'd like to listen to that. Absorb enough,
so much.
Especially about like scientific studies and whatnot.
Right, and all the findings.
He's like looking at feeding habits and stuff like
that.
Going
way in
which
depth.
Is super, super interesting, especially because people with captive green trees, have so many problems.
Like what?
It's mostly on imported stuff, but also on captive born stuff, U.S. captive born and bred stuff as far as like prolapses.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know. That's very common on green trees?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm not sure. No one's exactly sure, but you can definitely do it by overfeeding because I did that one. So overfeed, even if it's a small meal. But can't you
overfeed any snake? So why would it happen
most of them, when you
trees?
overfeed them, they get fat. Green trees, they shit out their whole intestines.
There is like not enough space for my organs. Let me pop that out. They'll keep the food in, but pop the organs out.
I fucked up by I kind of increased the size of the prey a little bit and was still going. I kind of was doing every 5 days or so, and she wasn't breaking down as fast as I was feeding, and then it kind of get lodged in there. And then I had to soak her when I saw that her belly was all, bloated and stuff like that. And then she went to the bathroom. I was like, perfect. Like, that's exactly what I wanted.
Right.
And then come back the next day in her tub, and there's like a full undigested mouse coming out of it. And then she prolapsed. So, yeah. So I had to go to the vet and get that stitched up to keep it in.
And then did you just not feed her for a while? Or
yeah, I didn't feed her for a little bit until I took out the stitches. And especially like I wanted to make sure for a few weeks. I'm not sure if this is the right thing to do. I was just being really fucking cautious.
Maybe Ian knows since he's green tree. What did you do?
He would know better than I would, but I made sure that I fed her and then I saw her go to the bathroom before I fed her again. So I really wanted to go on the side of caution to not overfeed her again.
Just to make sure it didn't.
So
pop back out.
now I'm feeding more regularly, but at the time I was like, I want to see that she can go to the bathroom normally without any negative effect before I feed her too much. So
okay, well, yeah, maybe Evan knows the right way to post prolapse, post green tree prolapse.
Well, hopefully, if you do it right, you don't have
a prolapse at all. But
right.
It happens, so he might know the right way to handle it. But obviously your green tree's fine now, and so what you did didn't hurt it.
I mean, it definitely hurt it, but
after the I'm saying your post prolapse care was okay.
Yeah, she's doing fine now. But Scott in Australia said that there is one that was illegally imported from Papua New Guinea.
Really? I thought things were so strict in Australia.
It makes a lot of sense because it is only 90 miles away, like you said. Okay. But then again, I think if you tried to sell those, I think you would get nabbed pretty quick.
You can't. So they're in Australia, but they can't go anywhere out of there now because But
I'm saying even if they're in, I don't think you can sell them across
because
within at all.
Within Australia,
you have to document every animal and all this other stuff. It seems like
so maybe whoever illegally imported it. Is there a black market?
Like living in Australia seems amazing, but there's very, very strict rule as far as wildlife. As far as I don't know. Maybe there's a snake black market. Even though Australia has the best snakes, I would still much rather because we still somehow get all those snakes.
But wouldn't it? Okay, if it was imported from New Guinea, but after they bred that line, technically that came that happened in Australia, wouldn't they be able to sell that? Does that make sense?
Wait, sorry.
Okay, bring it from New Guinea.
No, yeah, that makes sense. And then the
next one, right.
Makes sense, but it still can't happen.
He said things do eventually get in, but it's a hard arse place. I like that he said hard arse.
Yeah. That's not a very commonly used United States term.
Evan said every 7 to 10 days I feed my... Can't read it.
I feed my baby / yearlings, adults every 12 to 14.
Okay. And then how, after your green tree had the prolapse, how often, well, you said you waited till like pooped, but how often was that? Were you feeding after the prolapse?
After like everything was cleared up and I thought everything was okay, I do every 7 to 10 about.
Okay. And she could handle that and was pooping everything out fine. Okay.
And then I also do smaller meals just because I'm being a puss.
Right. Because, well, the reason it all happened is because you went bigger.
And then people also say, I've heard green tree people say, if you feed them mice, they don't do good. If you feed them rats, they, like people are either rat feeders or mouse feeders. Some people say only feed mice their whole life, or just people have different opinions. Okay. And then, I don't think it's 100% figured out. People have nailed down exactly what to do.
Mm-hmm.
All I know, she's doing all right.
She's doing fine. I wonder if Ian left because he's not answering our question.
I can't see because I want to scroll
stand up. No, yeah, stand up and then just swipe it up. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know if Ian's still there about post prolapse care, but
yeah. Sorry, so I don't.
There's conflicting ideas on how to handle it.
Yeah, everyone has their, and then also you got to think everyone's husbandry is different, like we were talking about before. Some people are doing just ambient temperatures for green tree pythons, and some people are doing hotter hot spots or cooler hot spots. So, it's all over the place.
Is there any other species that is very susceptible to prolapse, or just
things like your Borneos and your short tails of blood pythons? I believe, if you don't keep them humid enough, they'll definitely prolapse.
Really? Okay.
And I mean, they only go to the bathroom like every couple months. So.
Oh, that's so weird.
So when they go, I think it's a pretty serious event.
Speaking of going to the bathroom, remember I told you my new project idea or my product idea?
No, I don't know anything.
The other night when the closet smelled so bad after all of them had shit and peed and it was just disgusting.
Yeah.
I want to invent a deodorizer for snake rooms.
I don't.
What? You don't agree with that plan?
No.
Why not?
There's got to be some type of natural way to do it. There's nothing that you could. I don't know.
No, finish that sentence.
If it eliminates all odor and then kills the little flies that accumulate, that would be awesome. But
okay, well, maybe I'm just gonna make it so it does both. I don't know.
We're gonna test it, and then you're gonna kill all the snakes.
No, you test it on rats. That's what everybody tests everything
on. You test it on rats first because they're like cold-blooded for sure.
Because they're exactly like snakes.
Yeah.
Well, I just know I want something to handle that smell. Because
you just gotta clean. The only thing is, you don't understand. I have colubrids during breeding season. I'm feeding them so much; they're constantly shitting.
I mean, I understand. Constantly. I understand, and that's why you have the thing to make it not smell so bad.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna surprise you. Just wait, because that smell is awful.
You're gonna kill everything.
We'll test it on something that's also cold-blooded.
So I guess we should tell Scott that I'm working on doing the vacuum form. So I'm going to do.
See, he was doing it.
What?
He said we were designing something for that actually to get into markets outside, but to getting it into markets outside of Australia is hard. Someone else had my same idea. So shut up. I'm a smart person and I will make it happen outside of Australia. I bet.
And that's very surprising, by the way. He said that there's corns and boas there as well.
How did corn snakes get to Australia?
Through the zoo world, I can imagine it's there, but not in public collections in Australia.
So illegal practice?
No, I mean, in zoos, I'm sure they did a bunch of CITES paperwork. And then also, I believe these laws didn't exist between, before a certain time. I don't know the exact date. It was a long time ago, long before there was actually a, money in the captive trade here. But
so prior to the laws, it was much easier, for people to bring stuff in.
Things like the Australia Zoo, they don't just have fucking Australian stuff there, or all the zoos there, they don't just have Australian
but
stuff.
I'm assuming when he said there's corn and boas here, he doesn't just mean the zoos. He means for sale and everything.
Yeah.
And he said a veterinarian we know probably sees them 1 to 2 times a week. He doesn't say anything to them as he just wants to care for the animal, but they're here. So see, it was illegally. Yeah, because obviously that's why the veterinarian's scared to say anything in Australia, because that would, get the person in trouble.
So I'm assuming that the problem is that they're just stringent. Is there just stringent, what do you call that? Like laws against different chemicals and stuff you can use within the market, which means
why my deodorizer is hard to get out
because there's so many different.
I didn't think there'd be that strict laws on stuff.
Certainly.
There's just everything so strict in Australia.
Any type of chemical. Well, no, in the U.S., especially California. So if you take F10, which we use for sanitizer for the snakes, like a veterinary cleaner, you can't bring it into California. It has shit that's banned in California, which probably means that we should stop using it. But
what do breeders in California use to sanitize?
I mean, I use stuff that I got from the vet. I forget what it's called, some green stuff. But
so that
you can get some different stuff from a vet. It's just a different chemical,
But F10 is widely used.
F10 is widely used, yeah, but I don't use it.
That's very interesting. That would be illegal in California.
Yeah, then Evan was just saying, we have rough scales and it all makes it here eventually. So rough scales are basically some of the rarest pythons in the world, not because, they're hurt by human encroachment or anything, just because they've been piggy holed in a weird corner of an island basically off of Australia.
Okay.
And so basically
those the
Earth decided to not have them exist anymore. So they only survive in a small pocket, and somehow, even though they're so rare,
they got here.
They started captive breeding a lot, and I heard they're kind of like corn snakes in Australia because they breed very easily. So they're just all over Australia for pretty cheap prices. But so those got there, and they're considered, very rare species.
Very interesting. So there's more in Australia than we thought. Somehow,
which is totally
corn
didn't
snakes.
Expect that, to be honest.
I mean, if a veterinarian's seeing corn snakes twice a week, they must be very popular. Now I doubt there's the amount variety in the corn snakes that we see there. I doubt you're seeing a snow and all that other crazy stuff in Australia. But the fact that corn snakes are there at all surprises me. Because, at least from talking to you and other people, it just seems so strict and so hard to even illegally bring stuff in.
To do anything, yeah.
Right. Or even once it's in, to sell it, or to, because they're very strict in how you sell everything. So maybe there's a black market.
There's a black market for everything, for everywhere.
But a more extensive black market than we know about.
Why do you think we scratch the serial numbers off of guns every weekend?
Okay. We're not going to get into that. We know there's a black market on guns.
Evan said that Matt Morris uses vinegar and water and switched it up.
Switches it up simple.
So I guess bacteria don't get immunity to what she's like the same veterinary cleaner, stuff like that. So I guess mixing it up totally makes sense. And obviously vinegar and water.
You don't know what yours is made of.
And I know some people use bleach solution. I wouldn't use that.
That would scare me.
Like a very small solution, but definitely at least on their facility, they use bleach solution, which I would still be pretty nervous about if you use that on the floor. But I mean, I know Ben Rennick uses it for his building. Okay. But I mean, all his shit's white and it's fucking sparkly,
Yeah, but that's still just using bleach at all.
Yeah,
makes me nervous.
Yeah, it makes me nervous for sure.
But I mean, vinegar and water, that's super simple. And if it gets the job done, albeit. So I'm assuming maybe that's what people in California use since F10 is banned. Is F10 really bad?
No, I'm sure California just has very stringent laws on different chemicals. So you'll see a lot of things, especially if you're looking at like fishing lures or something. It'll be like not for sale in California because it has some type of lead in there. That causes cancer.
Okay. They're very conscious.
Something that causes cancer, and California's like, I guess everyone else is kind of stupid then.
I mean, they're the very forward-thinking people of this country.
Everyone else lags behind like 10 years.
They take a little bit to get there.
Right.
That's very interesting. Well, I'm going to talk to this, or I want you to talk to this guy about my deodorizer and getting it out of Australia.
He shouldn't have encouraged you.
Why?
This is giving you encouragement.
Oh, definitely, because I'm proving you wrong. So that's an added bonus in my life.
Well, I got to get to making
your own product.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's what, we started talking about that, but we got way off topic. Okay. So I want to do some forms and make some prototypes. And then when it gets to a decent stage, and I just want to do that before I obviously pay any type of factory to make a minimum of 1,000 of them. I want to make separate prototypes and be like, try out a bunch of different shit.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For throwing that on me. Thank you. Well, I don't know who's watching, but to remind anyone, the product you're trying to make is hide boxes with water bowl cups connected to it.
Right.
Yeah. So water bowl holes. Is that the right term? Water bowl.
I don't want to explain it too much.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, so I told you
I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried about anyone stealing it, but
yes,
I want to at least start a little bit.
Right, with it connected, so you can drop deli cups right in, and you can only clean one product, and they can't be knocked over because a lot of people put the deli cups into something that can be knocked over, and this eliminates that completely. Got it. My product is better. But
yeah, because you've kept snakes for so long, like you know exactly what everyone's looking for.
Totally. I know the people.
Like your years of cleaning shit has led you to all these brilliant deodorizing ideas.
My months of smelling your shit, well, not your shit, your snake shit has led me to this great idea.
Very convenient for you. Immune.
Who's that?
That's my nephew, Brian. Say hi.
Nephew. Well, okay.
Live from Oswego, New York, where it's still winter.
I'm totally random. Sorry. I was watching the Today Show today, and Al had a Oswego shirt on.
Yeah, it's his alma
and
mater.
I thought about that. Sorry. Nothing to do with snakes.
Matt, he used a big fat Al back in the day. Now he's all weird and
he's shriveled up. He was like biking.
Yeah, I don't like that shit.
Okay. Well.
Wish he was still fat.
No, he's healthy. This is so
he can only eat like a applesauce at a time. That's why.
That's not true. They eat so much food on that show, like every day.
But, yeah, that's why he only takes a little bite and then he throws up in the bathroom.
God, stop. Okay, back to snakes. I feel like we haven't really talked about selective buying like we said the topic was going to be.
No, yeah, we might as well just save that till next week, dude. We're not going to talk about. There's literally 2 minutes left on Instagram, so we might as well keep on rolling on this, and then we have the idea for next week.
Okay.
So.
Well, sorry.
So we don't have to try as much.
Get into selective buying more next week because we only have 2 minutes left. But we talked a lot about Carbon Fest. We talked about trading or mix. I don't know what the right words are. You have a snake you want to breed, someone else does, going them together. The things before breeding loans. That's a good word. The things you want to do before that. We talked a lot about green trees and the the struggles with green trees.
Consequences of keeping green trees.
The struggles with green trees and things that come out. So we promise next week will be a lot more about selective buying.
No one was like, oh yeah, selective buying. Thank God.
Okay. Well, whatever.
My dreams have come true.
Oh, but we also talked a lot about Australia. So pro tip, if anyone didn't know,
Australia,
there's corn snakes and boas
in your pants.
There's also boas.
Worth a lot more there.
So are ball pythons in Australia? Is my question.
If there's boas and corns, then there probably are. But then again, I bet corns and boas were probably smuggled way back in the day when balls weren't as prevalent. But I'm sure there's some
Well, Veritas, if you're still watching, I want to know. And I also want to know what is the most prominent snake in Australia, like as far as like people like the most, because here obviously ball python is like
it's definitely
the new thing.
Cool because the market's different. So like the corn snake of there will be something that's cool here. It will be like, you know, an Antaresia or something, you know, a little pygmy python or something that's cool here, or a rough scale, you know, or a blackhead is something, or a Woma.
By Instagram. But on YouTube, there's a compound that works exactly for that purpose. Totally safe, just expensive to attain since there's a minimum order quantity. Totally safe. I'm not going to kill all your snakes. And your mom came up with a great name for it. She said snake poopery. Snake poopery.
Oh God. Snake so ask what are the most prevalent species as far as what is the ball python, the boa constrictor, the corn snake of Australia?
Like here, ball pythons are like all the rage now.
Like is it like, I know Antaresia or all the pygmy pythons are going to be smaller, so I mean that may be a reasonable thing for someone to keep, or you know, obviously there's a bunch of carpets. And
I also wonder, like, are snake shows like they're here? Are they the same
I believe
in Australia?
There's more stringent rules in order of like displaying the snakes and stuff. But I know that I saw one where there's actually like they place the snakes like #1 in show snake and all that.
Seems like Australia is just the land of rules. As far as reptiles go.
Yeah, Scott was saying it's expensive too. Everything's more expensive.
Well, duh. Well, my friend Emily studied abroad there and she told me about alcohol. I don't know why I said that so
alcohol.
Weird. Sorry.
Alcohol. Thank you, Eddie.
What?
Your Eddie Murphy voice.
That was just a weird accent that came out. Alcohol, I don't know how to say it. Alcohol is very expensive in Australia. So I wonder, are snakes more expensive? Because that's consumer decided. It's not by any like government
I think that
or whatever.
May be, well, I'm sure there's a good sin tax on that because it's Australia and everything that's bad for you is taxed. And then also I'm sure there's not as many domestic ones.
Obviously.
Yeah. And then...
So you think that means...
And then all the snakes are in-house, so I'm sure there is...
more expensive.
Right.
He said one of the biggest TV shows here is called Border Security. Is that like Cops?
I'm sure it's like our border security is
it's
like
Cops.
It's like keep weed out of, you know, it's like the ones that are on the Mexican border that like try to get weed
and cocaine.
Yeah.
I'm assuming in my head it's like Cops.
It is a thing
like
here too.
Chasing people. And it's just very terrible television.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
But I mean, Australia, you got to be taking good boats. Like in the Mexican one, they're like, they rip open like a school bus and there's like,
like
10
our border security, we're connected to another country. Like I feel like Australia borders like,
yeah, but then again, there's so much coastline for them to take advantage of.
Right.
Like,
we just have one line.
Anywhere.
We have one line.
We have one line.
Well, technically Canada,
so
but
much of a coast, and then also it's a country that doesn't have a lot of people. Okay. It's a country that has as many people as the LA metro area. So there's a business opportunity.
I'm just saying it might be easy to sneak. I mean, I'm not trying. We can go to Australia legally, but I'm just wondering if it's easy to sneak in.
How convenient is it for us to just take a boat, you know, from here to Australia?
Very inconvenient. Right. That would take us so long.
Well, we have to go to Papua New Guinea. And then take the long way around it. I'm sure they already know, you know, the route.
Fly to LA.
Yeah, that's the first step. For sure, yeah. We're not very close to Australia.
There's 28 million people in Australia. That's nothing.
And it's like the size of the United States.
That is fucking nothing. Holy crap. How many reptiles are there? That's
29 million.
1 more million.
28.1 million.
Just a little bit more.
Well, no, the whole central, you know, area is pretty much just all what you'd call bush, I guess.
And there's just animals thriving.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like they have some of the most popular or the most deadly venomous snakes, but there's no one out there to get bit by them. So
it's just straight
so
wild.
it doesn't even matter. Plus, a lot of the like brown snakes and stuff like that, I believe, are very skittish, so they'll mostly run away before they bite anyone.
Plus, I'm sure you can't just go like take one and bring it home with you. It's pretty much illegal.
I mean, there are people who keep venomous in Australia, but there are obviously stringent rules and permits and
rules
stuff
and everything. And
rules.
Just don't keep any snakes unless you want to jump through lots of hoops in Australia. Pretty much. Don't expect to be able to sell anything to other countries if you're from Australia. Keep it pretty domestic. Mm-hmm. Starting a global reptile business is hard since we are in a niche market.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, meaning like reptiles is small enough until you get to Australian reptiles.
It's even smaller.
And then you're breeding like, and then, you know, there's some breeders that just do certain things in Australia as well. You know, just Peter Birch, I think he's full time and he does mostly just Antaresia.
He lives in Australia?
You know, pygmy pythons, yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've ever seen a pygmy
So it's a niche
python.
within a niche. Or the K brothers do a bunch of different stuff. They do blackheads, olives, that kind of thing.
Olives.
Uh-huh.
So do you think your olive, if you go down the line, it was smuggled?
Absolutely, it was.
Almost black-headed pythons, green trees are sought after. What does that mean? I don't know what he means by that. Sure. I don't know.
Oh, maybe he means like sought after. Like...
sought after. Oh, okay, got it. So there's not an abundance of green trees? Didn't he say they had that one locality or whatever?
I'm sure it's kind of like here. I'm sure the green trees are still pretty difficult to breed.
Okay, right.
But I mean,
there's a lot of them. It's just hard to take care of.
Pretty readily available, as you know, all over the place.
Oh, Evan switch. Oh, he sent you a message. Okay, Evan, we can't look at it right now. Oh, he's not even watching anymore. he just.
Yeah, but I'm sure, you know, within their market, there's things that still stick out, or, you know.
I just want to know how much, like, how different, you know.
It's so weird because, like, here, like, there's only so many things that are domestically kept. You know, we kind of frown upon the domestically kept stuff.
Right.
So, like, people are like,
and
corn
blasé,
snakes, whatever. We've had those forever. Right. All that stuff. So
we want the foreign stuff. Well, we're a
land so everyone wants exotic everything.
Well, that's past snakes. We like exotic shit. We like
it's in general. It's just rare and rare.
We like exotic foods, and it makes sense that it sounds better.
And it does sound better on YouTube because it's actually going through the mixer and the audio equipment.
And not just our
I probably should have told you at some point, you know.
Evan, sorry.
To go over on YouTube.
So you said used to be $15,000 for a green tree. Holy fuck.
Well, $600 if it's, you know, captive born and bred is probably pretty reasonable for US prices. Maybe
but can you imagine ever spending $15,000 on just like a basic green tree?
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's fucking
But if you
nuts.
breed them, I'm sure you can sell them.
I mean, you could be rich if you breed them. Yes, like it has both sides, but you wouldn't own one.
No, thanks. Of course I would.
Yeah, because you just have $15,000 lying around. Holy fuck. That's crazy. I wonder how much olives were. I want to ask him. I just want to talk to this guy. Basically.
Yeah, I just want to be like, how much is everything? Sorry for wasting your time. Like, we're not going to buy anything in Australia.
We can't buy anything from you, but I just have lots of questions to ask you because your world is so different in Australia.
Right.
And this is our only connection. What's the guy who we watch? Dave Kaufman?
Yeah.
Who goes to Australia? He goes there a lot, I feel like. And he's like our only like somewhat connection to Australia is watching his videos on YouTube. Okay, so $15,000 was 15 years ago, but still, like, I have to sneeze. Excuse me.
I mean, but a pastel ball python was like fucking $20,000 15 years ago.
And now they're just like so.
Now they're like $50.
Right. Okay, so that happens with other stuff too.
Yeah, it's production. Supply, demand,
all that stuff. But
I mean, I'm sure the reptile hobby, just as it did here, got a giant kick from like Steve Irwin, that kind of thing.
Well, like, definitely more than us, probably.
Like, and which is weird because like most of the people now in the U.S. who are into reptiles stem their collecting and keeping and breeding from Steve Irwin. So it's like,
oh, he was idolized here,
right? So it's like how much, you know, he's probably responsible for everything that's going on.
I mean, even after death, you know, he still has a huge like
influence.
There
was not a normal trade or captive bred animals, you know, before that. Like when
was he around? What, I don't know. When was he big? What years?
I mean, mid 90s to I think he died in 2001, 2, maybe.
Okay.
That's just a fucking guess, but yeah.
And so it's just crazy that like one guy could have such a like powerful influence on a whole, like, I don't even know what the word is, but whole market, whole everything. Yeah.
Like everyone, you know, the fact that you don't anymore get a guy on Animal Planet who affects the whole world and everyone knows by name. That just doesn't happen anymore, especially someone who's like into reptiles.
It's sad to say for Americans, but I think his Australian accent made us like him more.
Yeah,
which is like pitiful.
The thing is, he's an outrageous human being. He is not a normal person.
But the accent only made it like more intense to us. And so like better. That's sad that Americans we're so influenced by accents. But but I wonder, you know, obviously in Australia his accent was normal,
but they still like him because he's like an electric.
But was it to the level?
Yeah, but Americans they're like this is an Australian and he's making it.
So they're like Australian pride.
It's like how Germans like David Hasselhoff.
Oh, I didn't know they
love David. And here you're like David Hasselhoff.
I mean, he still makes like movies and shit, but it's just like.
But Germans like really love
Baywatch. That was it. Like.
At least I could imagine that Australians like he's like an ambassador for
them.
And then for reptiles, and then for everyone.
Yeah, there hasn't been another person who's like had that level of influence that Steve Irwin has had.
Right. Even in just animals in general.
Python Page. Sorry.
She does mostly birds. Her video on Facebook got like 14 million views or something.
Told you Python Pages.
We need to fucking get into birds. You
know? Absolutely not. Not at all. Who would be like bigger? Who would you think is who's ever gone closest to Steve Irwin within the last 17 years? I can't even think of anyone.
But you mean after Steve Irwin?
Yeah,
like since then?
Animal wise, I can't think of one person.
No one, unless you're like a super nerd, and you know, like there's been people who have like made a big influence within the reptile space and stuff like that, but not outside of it.
No one's ever got right.
No one's broken out of it.
Bindi.
Yeah,
his daughter.
It's just gonna be like Robert will probably do it.
He was on Jimmy Kimmel or one of the late night shows.
Yeah, like I think he'll probably actually do what Bindi's like doing her own thing, and I'm sure she's doing good. But like I think will
be his dad,
follow more in the footsteps. And then Steve Irwin was just following in like Bob Irwin's footsteps. So his dad was already really into reptiles, doing conservation, and already I believe he's the one who started the Australian Zoo. And then he also does, dugong conservation.
Jeff Corwin.
And I was thinking about Jeff Corwin, but like he was at the same time as Steve Irwin. And Jeff Corwin's actually like, he was like the neutered version of Steve Irwin. They were on at the same time, but he like used a snake hook and was like a normal.
So he wasn't like wild.
But he's like an actual herpetologist. Okay, that's the thing. Okay. Like he's probably a more respectable person in a like
normal like life way.
Yeah. But Steve Irwin just captivated everyone like no one else.
Okay, but it's funny the guy said they don't all talk like Steve Irwin.
That makes so much sense because he's definitely like a redneck of Australia.
The fact that redneck is a thing in Australia is funny though. Like
well he's saying that it's called I don't know if it'd be Oka style or.
But the fact that redneck is a term that is international, I think is funny.
Well, yeah, that's what he's saying. That's like their own term for saying redneck.
And also funny because I love Steve Irwin.
Yeah, but it's like looking at fucking Turtle Man. I'm like, fuck off, dude.
Who's Turtle Man?
He just looks very stupid. Remember? Yeah, Live Action. That guy from Kentucky who like
I don't know who Turtle Man is.
Oh, he's the worst. But like,
I'm gonna have to go look up Turtle Man.
It's disgusting. Like if you put that, it's different though. If you put that in Australia, you're like, Americans are all fucking retarded. But if you put Steve Irwin in America,
we're like,
you're like, that dude's cool.
Right. I hope Australia people don't think we're all like Turtle Man.
Yeah, which is probably more true than we want to think. Not everyone, but probably too many of us are.
So like then maybe if Steve Irwin was like redneck, Australians didn't idolize him like Americans did. I mean, that could just be how he talked and not, he wasn't seen as a person like that, but you never know.
Because I mean, if you look back on it, if you do exactly what Steve Irwin did then today, especially in the hobby where he was free handling venomous snakes, he was tailing brown snakes and stuff, people would be like, fuck this guy. Like, he's doing the wrong thing technically. Like, so
you're respected if you handle venomous snakes like Tom Crutchfield, like very respected in the thing. He has venomous.
Even not respected.
Oh, never mind. I thought Tom Crutchfield was respected. I feel like I see him everywhere. Like at least whenever I get on like stuff, he's interviewing with this person and this person.
Yeah, it's kind of a 50-50 thing. Because he's the reason why all these Australian pythons and a lot of the boas and stuff are here. Because he's the one who put him in his pants. And
okay, but I feel like he handles them.
He did some stupid stuff with the cobra. He opens up the box with his hand and the cobra pops out.
Yeah, but
it's you should open it. You should open it with a hook.
Okay.
But I mean, whatever. I don't know. Who's to say? It's someone else's body.
So
if you die, you die. But unfortunately, it kind of affects everyone in the hobby. But then again, I don't keep venomous. But if you do, you're like, that guy's gonna die, and then
I bet our
right to keep venomous.
The people who keep venomous are happy he put snakes in his pants.
Oh, I'm happy he put snake in his pants. That's why I have a fucking. Actually, it was probably Hank Malt that got me my olive python. But like,
he put snakes in his pants too.
They're all putting snakes in their pants.
Snakes in the pants.
Crutchfield had a fucking, I believe it was Egyptian cobra in a airport. He had a cobra get out of the airport.
Oh, it got loose.
Yeah.
Did he catch it?
I know. I think airport security took it.
Oh fuck. And what did they do with it?
Probably euthanize it. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So Crutchfield is a very touchy here and there thing because like he continues to do a lot for the hobby, but by today's standards, that's the thing. Like you have to think when this is happening. So there's definitely a different standard today as it should be than there was then.
Mm-hmm.
So like the guy I got my palmetto corn snakes from, I wasn't happy, probably because I'm from a different era where we don't just send snakes in unmarked fucking boxes anymore.
Your standards are higher than his.
We don't do that anymore. We're doing better now. But like some people still haven't moved on. Like Crutchfield still has a price list on his website. He doesn't like post anything. He just has a little price list where he doesn't post pictures.
Wait, and so people buy from him sight unseen?
Right. So,
what?
Yeah, it's a fucking old school thing when they used to do it all by mail.
Who would buy something without seeing it? That's just.
No, it doesn't make sense today, but back in the day, if it was really expensive, they would mail like a Polaroid. Fucking, yeah. So they would just say like, very nice looking. And then they'd be like, oh, cool. Let's get that
buy this.
But who was the other one? Oh, yeah. So that guy. And also he shipped it out of fucking Georgia, which is. It's illegal to ship corn snakes to have corn snakes in Georgia.
The guy who sent it to you.
Yeah, the guy who sent it to me. So I was like,
you're just skeptical, but
just no, because it said ships out of South Carolina. I'm like, I wonder why he says that in his ad. And then I got it, and the return address says fucking Georgia. Then I'm like, okay,
that's why he lied about where it comes.
Yeah,
from.
And then it's like, guys back in the day used to send corn snakes in padded envelopes. That's just how they did it.
To hide or to
just to make it easier and stuff. Before now we have such a good base of supplies and materials that we can use and different stuff to make our lives reasonable and legit. We don't have to do that bullshit anymore.
But some people aren't doing it.
Some people are still doing that bullshit, but we kind of need those people to kind of die off already because they're a little bit of a black
You have no idea how old the guy was that sent you your thing.
Yeah, that's true.
You have no idea.
No, but like, we need to hold that higher standard at this point.
We don't need to go to Australia level.
So like, Crutchfield is cool. He does like stuff with iguanas and
but he fences on the line of.
But now he's working towards conservation, and he never took anything that was very endangered or anything. Bearded dragons are something that's very easily found in Australia, and like he's the one who introduced the best pet lizard to the United States, the bearded dragon.
Did he put lizards
he brought in
his
all
pants?
The green iguanas. Yeah, he got them here somehow. I don't know how, but and then also he got all the green iguanas here, which is kind of like he said he used to bring them in like thousands and thousands at a time, and like lots of dying iguanas, like bad shit. But that was a different time. Now it's different.
Right. He wouldn't do that now.
Yeah, exactly. That's things that he says, wouldn't fly now, and I'm sure he wouldn't do it now. But Scott said there's a loony guy here who defangs venomous snakes by putting them in the freezer, making them slow, then pulling the glands/teeth.
God.
That's fucking terrible.
What?
And I don't even see how that's reasonable. I don't know. And anyone who
what's
does
the purpose of defanging? Just so you could keep them and not kill yourself? Like,
yeah, I mean, you see some defanged snakes here. I'm not sure why people do it. People nowadays frown upon it. I think it may have been kind of an old school practice.
If you're that scared about getting killed by your snakes, how about just not keep venomous ones?
Either don't keep, or learn how to keep correctly from someone who's legitimate.
Like, clearly you don't care about the livelihood of the snake if you're gonna fucking put them in a freezer. Like, why keep, like, I just don't understand that. Like, clearly you don't love them, so why are you keeping them? Like,
not that, I mean, maybe they like keeping the snakes. They just somehow they rationalize that in their brain that that's normal to do.
That's so crazy. I wonder, random question, do you think everyone can see everyone's questions?
I would think so, but it doesn't seem like any
I think Evan was asking Scott, who's the barefoot guy in Australia, and so I don't know if Scott could see Evan's question or not. But Scott said he presents animals and claims to be the only person able to be bitten by venomous, which is dumb because multiple people have been bitten.
Well, the fact is that we have some guys here who self-envenomate, and these people, and they, immunize technically to their terms to where you can get bit by a mama. Like there's a guy like Tim something or another. He self-envenomates, and then he's been bitten by a mama a few times. That's just fucking retarded. Just don't get bit by stuff.
But if you defang them, like, of course, if
but I mean, I'm saying that guy doesn't.
Right.
Maybe he does, and maybe that's. But you've seen that one where you had the rattlesnake. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
soft fangs go into him and stuff, but I don't know.
Oh, okay. So he did see Evans. Maybe Evan was asking us. I don't know. We just don't know.
I want to hear names from Evan on that last one.
On what?
And I know that there was, you may be talking about the same guy, a boa breeder, who did that, very well known, who got caught not too long
in
ago.
The DFW airport? Yeah, Evan, give some names up. Who got
I won't
caught
say
smuggling.
It over this, but it's just crazy that people are still doing that.
Are still, like, is it really that necessary to still smuggle animals? Like, I just feel like we have so many here, like, are you that desperate?
Is there still stuff that we need to smuggle? I mean, there's always something. There's always new species. There's always new little localities of things.
Maybe just the rush.
Just a
rush
personal journey. Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know. But...
does it? Oh, I want to. Rob Brettel.
Do you know
good last name though? The Barefoot Bushman.
Have you heard of that?
Oh, so he must have known what he was talking about. So he must be a pretty popular guy in Australia.
So he just doesn't wear
I wasn't
shoes
sure.
and
For some
handles
reason,
crocodiles?
I thought when he said works with Crocs, I thought he was talking about like the shoes.
Oh, I thought shoes immediately too. I was like, oh,
because he was talking about bare feet.
Yeah,
and
no,
I was like,
immediately thought
that's
the
even
shoes.
dumber than working with crocodiles if you're wearing Crocs.
I immediately thought the shoes, and I was like, ew. And then I like processed it and realized he was talking about crocodiles, which the shoe Crocs are equally as disgusting and terrible.
And Evan, I want to know what that guy's name.
The smuggler. Well, Evan can message you directly. But have you ever watched The Barefoot Bushman?
I have no idea what that is.
I'm very hesitant to watch anyone who handles crocodiles. I just feel like that isn't going to go well.
Not handle. I'm sure he just feeds and keeps crocodiles.
Yeah, I don't trust that.
We should watch him.
I don't trust that at all.
I'm going to need a few more beers, though.
What do you mean?
For the Barefoot Bushman.
I just don't. I think that's dumb. I think you're asking for trouble.
Oh, it's all asking for trouble, whether you're doing crocodilians or venomous, you know?
But I guess the whole barefoot thing, who cares if you wear shoes? You're handling
at that
crocodiles.
Point, I know even Jim, oh, fuck me, what's his last name? Kentucky Reptile Zoo. Yeah, Jim Gaffigan. No. Wow, that's bad that I'm blanking on his name. But Jim from Kentucky Reptile Zoo doesn't, Jim Harrison, he he sometimes does it barefoot. I think he stopped doing that, but he used to a lot. But yeah, he extracts venom for research and stuff like that. Not like the venom hunters bullshit, but for like real life.
Because he works for the zoo.
It's just Kentucky called a zoo. It's not necessarily a zoo, more of a venom extraction center, but it also serves as a place for the public to go see venom extraction and venomous reptiles and learn. So
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, he's a totally knowledgeable people doing it.
He's a totally knowledgeable people.
He's knowledgeable people.
He's a knowledgeable person.
He's good people.
Who educates people. That's cool. That definitely should be something that happens more. Right. Places to educate people about venom and all that stuff. Because, like, I'm tired of people being scared of a fucking garter snake. And shit like that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You don't know what's helping and what's hurting. So everyone has their opinion on what's helping and what's hurting.
But so, education is always helpful.
Right. Yeah, but it goes back to the point, is Barczyk helping or hurting? Is Steve Irwin helping or hurting? And there's always going to be like 60-40 at least, or 50-50 being like, all the way from
they're helping in one section and could be hurting in another. It is very possible to be doing both.
Right.
It's very, very possible.
But I think in general, people just need more personal experience with reptiles in general. I don't think it takes you almost getting bit by a venomous snake to do so, but it takes that maybe one-on-one encounter to realize like this is irrational and let's be cool. To things
cool. About some snakes. Let me say that. Like, let's not be cool about all of them.
Well, no, you need to be educated on what snakes
to be cool about.
Yeah.
And educated that don't try to ship stuff to Australia because you're
so fail. that guy, the Bushman, his father is the one who I guess named the Brettle python.
Okay.
Or the Centralian carpet
Interesting
python.
That he's into Crocs and then not Brettles.
I mean, it totally but I mean, that gives him some clout as far as his dad was a legitimate herpetologist.
Mm-hmm. So he's not just some crazy.
So he's not totally crazy.
He's not some crazy Australian man. Right. If his dad is the one who, that's pretty cool.
I figured that wasn't a coincidence.
That his last name is Brettle.
I
mean, we don't know about Australian last name. Right.
Thing.
I thought that too. It's like, what's the chance that his last name is Brettle? And there's actually Austin would be interested to know that, but Austin is not watching anymore. But that's cool.
You should get a Brettle and an inland.
Okay.
I don't know. Fucking random.
That was very.
I don't know.
We should just go to Australia.
We should go to Australia.
I would love to go to
Bring
Australia.
Extra socks.
Big pants. Should I bring
pants.
some sweatpants with lots of pockets on the inside?
Black-headed pythons are much more expensive here, and like,
how really expensive are they here?
No, they're like $1,200.
Do you think they're very cheap in Australia?
I'm sure they're cheaper. They're still a little bit difficult to breed, though.
Okay.
But I'd like to buy one day, somehow, some way.
So if you have money,
coming up with funky ass shit like every single day. Snoop Dogg.
Nope, don't know that song. Let's not do the rapping.
Let's not do the rapping.
Let's not rap.
I put Wu-Tang in the video today.
Why?
Because it made sense.
I don't know. Okay.
We went like
We're past our hour.
way over
We're
time.
At an hour and 30. Oh, he said, since reading his last name just a few minutes ago, I didn't think it was a last name. So it'd be a very rare last name to have. Okay.
And then he said, get him a Bowen's.
Oh, to buy him. Well,
That's also, let's like, someone else needs to figure them out for me and then breed them like corn snakes.
What do you mean, figure them out?
Meaning that there's only pretty much one person in Europe right now. I think there may be a guy getting eggs here in the States this year, but there's been mostly just in Europe. One guy who's been able to breed them.
Really?
So
it's like
one of the last puzzles besides, I believe it's Helmhera scrubs, but they're just very difficult to breed, very particular. They're in, high altitudes, in cloud forests, and people just aren't sure how to make them breed.
Texas.
So not exactly Texas, but there is a guy, I believe I thought it was Keith McPeak, but maybe that's.
Oh, I like his name.
It's also a blood python guy. I think it might just be a short. I've been listening to the fucking short tail stuff, but someone may have Bowen's eggs this year.
Okay, and has figured out
but
how to do
then
it.
Again, you're still looking at probably $5,000
because if only one person's
born and bred, yeah,
only one person
they deserve
to
be that expensive. And then even when they are figured out, you are probably taking 5 to 8 years to maturity.
Holy crap. That's a
so
lot.
It's like not worth it by any stretch of the imagination. If you really love Bowen's, totally makes sense. But for me, I really love the look of them. So
but 8 years of trying to
I'll take them
that.
for like $800.
I mean, maybe get a 5th year one. I'm sorry.
No, but the thing is, you change locations and they get uncomfortable and they may not breed for you. So you want to settle them down.
The
in
one person
location.
who's here, do you know where he is?
No, I don't remember.
Okay.
Probably, I don't know why I want to say the Midwest. I'm probably making that up.
Well, that's not high altitude.
No, not at all. That's the thing. Like Pro Exotics, they were in Colorado. They tried to breed them and didn't get anywhere.
Really, even though that's very high altitude. Like, right? The closest you're going to get in America.
No, I mean it's more of maybe the altitude and the air pressure doesn't affect them. Maybe it's just more of random temperature, humidity.
Something else
stuff
in Europe that we don't have.
They may be kept much colder than we thought. Not in Europe, but just he also did a bunch of little things. There's a lot of variables. So what you want to do is breed them and then strip back each variable
to figure out which one.
Maybe I don't need a lighting cycle. Let's see if he can breed without a lighting cycle. Okay. And then you're stripping down to what the most essential of those variables is. So he's bred them, but he's probably scared to strip away the variables just yet because he's like, I did it once. Like, let's fucking do this a couple more times.
Going. Right.
And then you can see what is a reasonable way to do it. Or, maybe it's just the temperature, it's just the humidity, just do this, and maybe we can breed them a little bit more easily. Maybe everyone can get in on it.
So there's just not a lot known about how to breed them.
Yeah. So. Evan got us going again.
I know.
All right, we're actually going. We went an hour 30. We went 32 minutes over, but it's a lot easier to talk when we have people to talk to. Thanks, Scott and Evan.
Yeah, I want to learn more about
sticking towards the end, and then obviously Ian and Austin.
Yes. Thank y'all,
and thank you everyone for listening, and anyone who's listening on iTunes, Stitcher.
Will be up tomorrow.
Wherever the hell you get apps, that will be up tomorrow. So yeah, if anyone listens to this live, just know that it's also on Stitcher and iTunes. Like you don't have to catch it live because we're still trying to do the 5. We did 5 o'clock today.
Yes.
We actually made it for once. We're gonna keep on trying to do 5 o'clock, but who knows? We need to arrange it with our sponsors, Reptile hats. We need to talk to them, see what's a good time for them.
Oh my God, shut up.
We're still in negotiation about finance. So yeah.
You're the worst. Okay, goodbye.
Later.
Dunzo. Oh, Evan said we talked about this at Carbon Fest. There are a few people who bred them. The Bolins.
Uh-huh.
Oh, so more than one. Okay, Evan, we said we're done. Don't start us again. Goodbye, Evan.
Later.